everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is Titli and you're watching Titli B. I hope you all are doing fine and staying safe now that unlock has already begun. I hope you all are maintaining all the precautions and keeping yourself safe and healthy. Now today's video is something that I have been planning to make since I finished reading this book. Like seriously, it has built up so much rage inside me that I had to make a rant review. And the book that I'm talking about is Children of Virtue and Vengeance by Tomi Adeyemi. Now if you have seen my July TBR or even my last video, if you haven't watched it, go and watch it. It is a fun video. So yes, that when I was said that I am very excited to read the sequel of Children of Blood and Bone, and I was very much excited until I read this book. Now before I begin into this, let me tell you what is a rant review and why I am doing this. Now this rant review I have made also one previously of my book that also I was very high expected of, and that is The Court of Frost and Starlight, which is Sarah J. Maas's book, and The Court of Acotar, The Court of Roses and Thorns sequel. And that was my first rant video, and this is my second rant video I'm doing. I don't generally do much of rant videos because I generally love the book that I read, but there are some books that just disappoints me beyond word, and this book is one of them. Now let me tell you first, when I was starting this book, I was very much expectant of it. Now the rant review is absolutely something that is my personal opinion. This is a very subjective topic that I am going to talk about. This is not meant to hurt somebody or hurt a community in any way. This is something that I am making just to express my feelings towards a book that I read. So yes, that is a rant review. This is not meant for any personal attack or anything. This is just I am going to talk about the amount of disappointment I got after reading this book. So yes, without any further ado, let's get started. Now to my review. Okay, before I even start the review, let me tell you about the first book. The first book, that is The Children of Blood and Bone, is where we meet our characters Zeli, Amari, Zain and Inan, the four characters, the four protagonists who were on a quest. Now the first three protagonists, that is Zel, who is Maji, and her brother, that is Zain, they went to the market to sell something to get some money for themselves, where they accidentally meets Amari, the runaway princess, and they all start on a journey to bring back magic. And then they thereafter meets Inan, who is the prince, the crown heir, and he was actually initially very bad character because that was first portrayed, but later on we come to know the other side of this character, and it was beautiful. And that book was full of adventures and roller coaster. So I cannot say much about that. You can go and check my review of that book. I will put that link in the description box below. So that was of the first book. Now when I finished the first book, I had huge expectation from this one. Yes, I'm telling you, I had huge expectation from this one, and I was so eager to read this one because as soon as I ended that book, I knew I have to get my hands on the sequel, and I did. Then I read it. Okay. Now before even I start on the rant, let me tell you the good things about this book. Like, a book is not totally bad in a way because the writing I think got better, because in the first book there were so many unnecessary descriptions given, so much it was well described, I would say. Somewhere even it was described more than needed. But in this book, Tomi Adeyemi has done a very good editing job. So all the POV we get, all the POV of the characters, it stays quite short and crisp. So it is easier to just move from one POV to other POV without much. And this book, even though it's 400 pages, it has so many POVs, so many chapters, about more than 80 chapters in this book. The story in this book starts when the first book left. So it is when all the magic is restored and Zell, Amari are coming back to claim the throne for Amari, and that was the plot and that was going on. But something absolutely different happened. Now let me tell you, this is because a RANT video, there will be spoilers. So in case you don't want to get spoiled, leave this video and come back after you have finished this 400 pages of torture. Now in this book, as Zell and Amari come back to claim the throne, a new species has evolved. And should I say this is a new species? I think I should say this is new species because this wasn't here in the first book, and that is the Titans. Who are these Titans? They are these noble people or the family members of the noble people who has suddenly got magical powers because of the blood magic that Zell did. Okay, alright. So this was a new addition. But there was a new villain and a new character altogether. Now Amari was coming back thinking that she would claim the throne, go to her mother, and now that their horrible father King Saran was dead, they would rule this place with harmony and peace. But all of a sudden her mother is also somebody who has power, but not a proper titan. We get to know about her power way later in the book, so I'm not going to reveal that entirely. So her mother has powers and her mother is evil. Like, she sees her daughter who has came back alive from this huge fighting, who eloped at the first place. She sees her and said, traitor. So yes, that is the first reaction of her mother. And Amari was spellbound because this is something she did not expect it from her mother, and that happened. So that was first very confusing in the beginning, but very intriguing too, because we all love a good villain starting up in a book. So yes, that was all right. But then we get to know that the very character I was heartbroken because he was announced dead in the first book was alive. So this was also a moment for me when I was happy because this character was alive. I was so happy for this character because this character was very important. Okay, but this character, I don't know why he did not die. He would have died a hero. You know, there's a quote, I cannot even remember the quote properly, that you either die a hero or live long enough to see yourself becoming a villain. This is same happened for this very character. And yes, there's that for the first two characters. Now coming to Zell. In the first book, I really loved Zell's character. She was such a strong character. She was determined to bring back magic. She was determined to do the good for her people, the Magi, as well as she was trying to help Amari or even trying to understand Inan's viewpoint as well. In this second book, Zell was kind of suicidal because her father was dead in the first book, because during the rituals and stuff like that, her father died and she now doesn't have anybody but her brother, and all Zell could think was how Inan killed her father, did not keep the promise, and otherwise I understand that she had a lot of going on, but she kind of became an ass throughout this book, and she became an ass. She was suffering, yes, but most of the time she was thinking about eloping. She wasn't even thinking about her brother, who actually also lost her father. I don't know how, She did not even care for Zen, that who is also now just as orphan as she was. So all she could think of was herself and how everything was going down. All she was determined was to kill Inan. And when she come to know Inan was alive, well, for next 400 pages, you see that motive only. Now coming to Amari. Now this character is such a pure character, such an innocent character in the first book. In the second book, I don't know what to say. So throughout the book, the motive of hers was come back, be the queen, restore peace. All said, but she left restoring peace. She left everything. All she had in her mind was getting the kingdom, killing her brother, killing her mother, and that's all she wanted. So that was first thing about Amari that I started hating. Now the second thing. In the first book, we see how much she hated her father. She hated, like, Inan was somebody who wanted to be like his father, but like their father. But Amari, she hated from God King Saran. And now, once that King Saran was dead, all she could think was, what would father say? I'm doing this. What would father say if I do that? What would father say if I do this? So throughout the book, we get to see how much Amari was getting influenced just by the memory of King Saran. This goes there. And then comes Zen. She and Zen had built a beautiful relationship in the first book. And in the second book, he was like arm candy. There are things that happening and she would once in a while go to Zen. And that's all for Zen. So that was her relationship. There was nothing in this book as much as build up we got in the first book. Everything was just went down. Now coming to Inan, the very beautiful Inan that I loved in the first book, and before Zel could kill, I would have killed him. Now, as Zel said, that Inan is somebody who is with you when everything is on his favor, and as soon as things get difficult, he makes his choice, and it's kind of true. I don't understand throughout the book Inan was in whose side. So Inan was this character. He was now the king. Now that he was surviving, now he was back at palace. He was the king and he wanted to restore peace. Alright, he wanted to restore peace. But every single time the Magi would stick any step, do anything, he would just tell his whole court, tell his whole army, they are going there, I know, they are planning to do this, I know, and they would go and fight. I don't know if this man even trying to bring back peace. In this book, the only time Inan actually tried to restore peace or actually tried to make anything good with the Magi people was offering food. I mean, you just became a king after a huge fight. You come with the mother of yours who was actually killing the Magis and offer them some grain and you expect them to accept that. So when the Magi people denied his food, he was like, yeah, they did not want the food, they burned the food, we fight. So yeah, that was all his take. He didn't even try it for second time until very, very later in the book, until he came to know about the main secret. So yes, that was all he did. He just sent grains, and when they burned the grains, he was ready to fight. That was all his treaty, that was all he could do for peace. There it goes. Now, these are the three characters problem that I said we see in the book. But I didn't even address the main problem. And that is, now coming to the main problem of these three characters, the three main characters, that is, all of them are, first of all, stubborn, hot-headed, trying to prove themselves, but they're failing miserably, and also very, very arrogant. All three of them, including Zel, Amari, and Inan. I think this whole book would have been ended in 200 pages. I think even less if there was proper communication and if anyone was truly trying to have a proper decorum in the place. Like, alright, Odisha, wait for none. And you three wait for none. Odisha, wait for none, it's alright. But you three, like, they are making decision of their own. They are not ready to do any kind of compromise. They are all in their own zone. So actually this was nothing but a fight between these three, and all the other people just died. So yes, this is the main thing. Like seriously, I was physically getting sick. Like I was having headache, and when I just went and talked to my friend about this, I thought my migraine was going on. She told me she was having headache as well while reading this book. So yes, that bad this book is. Like why this was like this. Like all these three characters, so much character build up in the first book, and in the second book like nothing, or like there was character demotion that has happened, in no improvement, like nothing has improved. So the three characters, the main characters, there's no more irritating as them. Amari was trying to prove herself with her new powers. Zen was just ignored. I'm coming to that in a second. Zel was suicidal, as well as now that she was an elder, she was like, I have to save my clan. Okay, you go and save your clan, but on the very first day when Inan offered you some peace, you just simply asked them to burn the whole food grains he has sent. And you thought that won't make a fight. Even Amari was sensible at that time to come and try to stop her. And then also Amari was like, yo, who cares about sensibility? We are all here to fight, and that's all. And Amari was selfish. I don't know how Wayne and how this character, this beautiful, innocent character became so selfish. Like throughout the book, I was amazed. I don't know who to hate more. There happens like you don't get to choose like which character you love more, and I didn't know which one to hate more. I think even Inan was comparatively less hateable in this book than Amari. Like Amari was a monster. Coming to Zen, I don't understand. In the first book, he was the main character out of the four, and in this book, he was a main character too, but he doesn't have a POV. I don't understand why Tomi Adeyemi haven't included his POV. I mean, you just think about this. Out of all these magical people, all these powerful people, he was this normal guy with no power, a sister who was such strong sister in the first book, with magic, and this new girlfriend that he got who was the princess. And we don't get to see any side of it. Like he was struggling, he was hustling, everything was same for him. He was going through every adventure, he was losing the same amount of parents Zel did. Yet we don't get to see any part of his, we don't get to see any point of view of this very character. He was supporting this two hot-headed protagonists. I don't know why Tomi Adeyemi didn't thought this is a good idea to put Zen, her book, so yeah, leaving it to her. But as a reader, I seriously wanted to see Zen's POV. Like in the first book, that was my question, and I was secretly hoping we will get to see Zen's POV in second book, which was also absent over here. Now coming to the good parts. We get to see more Magi in this book. So yes, we get to see more various forms of magic and different clans, which was good. We see Mama Abba, we get to know about the whole magic clans and how they initiate the magic and everything. The ceremony they do and thing was all right. So that was just a good part, and that for that only I would give it 2 stars. I think even 2 stars is more. It took me so many days to finish just a 400-page book. And if I show you, look at this. There are so many white pages, even there are pages which, see, left so much. Oh, I don't think you can see. Yeah, see how much pages are actually left white and everything. See, but even with that, I couldn't finish this book on time. Like, because of this book, I got delayed in my June TBR. This book is horrible, 400 page, and I don't know why even this book is here. I have lost my total curiosity of this series. I am not going to read third book. I don't think I will, because what I want to read, like, this is going to be same kind of stupid stuff. This book should not exist. After the first book, this book is total trash for me, and I'm not going to read this ever. Like, this 400 page, not worth my time. Like, I have given it once and I'm dropping it. Impossible for me. I don't know, there are people might have liked this book or not, but I feel like this book has ruined everything from the first book. The characters, the plot, the intentions, the magic, the charisma it has in the first place, my love for Tomi Adeyemi, the magic whatsoever, the thrill. The only good thing I think that has became in this book was the fighting scenes. The fighting scene was good because of the well descriptions and the magic, but that's all. So yeah, that's all for my today's rant review. I don't know, like, I didn't wanted to make a rant review of this book. When I started this, I thought this is going to be a good book, and I was very excited because it will also have a third book, but it took a 360-degree turn. I'm not saying this to hurt anybody, as I said in the first time. So yeah, this book is horrible for me. So I hope you like this video. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. Please share my videos with your friends and families and help me grow. So yes, that's all for today's video. Stay safe, stay happy. Till then, bye bye.